Can't use that one either. So it's like no winning. We're live as we over here make fun of how Tony uses the mouse.
Yeah.
So what's going on, guys? We're back again. Today we have Karissa, not from Karissa Explains It All, which is one of my favorite shows as a kid, but Karissa from
Yakima.
Renu Hot Yoga.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Since 2019.
Yes.
So introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and a little bit about who Karissa is.
All right. Yeah. I was born and raised in Yakima. Well, technically Sela, which is, just off the side here of Yakima. But I never left. Went to college here. Graduated with my bachelor's degree from CWU, but I did that online. I've been in sort of like, management level positions since I graduated high school. And then, I got tired of I was an assistant to someone and I was like, I don't want that. I want to run my own thing. So then I found that these businesses were for sale and, jumped on that. So I felt a connection to them because when I was in a corporate job, I worked in coffee on the side because I just enjoyed the people and a different interaction, and then I grew up as a dancer my whole life. So I did tap, ballet, jazz, all of that. And so it was
you almost have to explain that with the audience, dancer.
Yeah.
From our previous conversation earlier.
Yes. So Renu is also connected with New You Juice Bar. And so they were for sale together. And I was like, nice. That's exactly two of the things I love. So let's do it. So yeah, here we are.
Yeah. So you opened in 2019. That was right before COVID struck.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But yoga. So you got into yoga and you totally fit the yoga. If I imagine what does Karissa look like? you look like somebody that teaches. Every time I've met anybody that teaches yoga or does yoga, they always have really clear skin.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. Well, the infrared heat at our studio is definitely great for your skin. Yeah.
So is that those special lights you have that create the infrared
It's not
heat?
light. It's a panel and it's infrared heating rays. Okay. So it's not light. You can't even tell. It doesn't you don't see anything. You just feel it. So we have panels that hang from the ceiling that they come off of. And so it's not HVAC heat. It's this really nice.
So how has yoga played a role in your life? When it comes to self-care, mental health, mm-hmm. Or was it one day you were like, oh, I'm going to go try yoga? How did you kind of get into the whole yoga scene?
So, of course, I grew up dancing. And after high school in Yakima, there's nothing really to do with that, right? So I grew up my whole life as a dancer. And then I just stopped, So it was what could I find to do that is keeps me moving? Right. And I tried the gym. I went to the gym for a little bit. I got into that for a while, but it wasn't it's obviously not as fun as dancing. When
you say you got into the gym, personal training for yourself, or if you were a personal trainer?
No, I was just going to the gym.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to the YMCA here in town. And, just doing my own thing. I didn't have a personal trainer either or anything. We learned some stuff to do that in high school.
Right.
So just going off of what I learned there. But and so at the YMCA, they had yoga classes. So if you have a membership at the Y, you can take the classes as well. So I was let me try that out. And so I was oh, this is kind of like dancing. You get to move your body around. It's not just pumping weights or whatever at the gym. And so I really enjoyed it because I felt a connection from my past with dance and being able to do yoga. So that's kind of how I got introduced to yoga. And then I kind of fell off any sort of fitness, anything for a while I was working a corporate job. I don't really know why. I don't really have a reason. But then, I came back to it. And now that I'm back in it, I just love you get to move. It clears your mind. You just feel so good after class, after getting to move your body.
I feel like there's some major misconceptions of when it comes to yoga. And actually, if you go to where Tony's camera, where he's got his awesome grandson with him today, that's Jacob. Say hi, Jacob. So we were at lunch today, and Jacob, Tony's grandson, was asking who we're interviewing next. And I said, oh, we have a young lady coming in that has a yoga studio. And Tony said, do you know what yoga is? He goes, yeah, I think that's what girls do. Right. So bringing it up, there is a misconception that has to do with girls. Right. And I thought that my entire life as well, oh, girls do yoga, girls do Pilates.
Yeah.
Until, which this part of the story you probably don't know, that I went to federal prison and there was yoga classes in prison. I'm like, a bunch of grown men in prison are doing yoga? Like, who's in these classes? And it was one of the most, when I say an experience, it was because I was super stiff. I had a surgery on my arm, and going back into you finding a love and passion for yoga, does it also have a lot to do with your first impression, like who's teaching the class? Because I imagine there could be some yoga classes where you go to it and it's just so poorly ran, or the boring class, you don't find yourself wanting to go back, and it creates like a bad first experience.
Yeah. A lot to unpack there. So yes,
Go ahead.
yoga is not just for girls. We have plenty of guys that come to yoga and they love it as well. A lot of guys that go to the gym, because when you go to the gym a lot and you are lifting a lot of weights, you get really tight muscles because that's all you're doing. You're not doing a lot of stretching. Hopefully they are doing, some stretching before and after their workouts. But we do get those, gym rats or whatever you want to call them, that come into the studio and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so much better that I have been coming to yoga. Or like just recently, someone was like, I think they might maybe do CrossFit. But they're like, I want to come here once a week because wow, I just like feel so much better after I took that one class.
And it's not just like this easy class you go into and you sit there and you do some cute little stretches. I mean, I've left yoga classes feeling like I had a full body workout where I was ready for a nap after.
Yeah.
It can be intense.
Yeah. It definitely depends what style you take. So we do our best to educate our new people that have never been, or they don't know what the classes are, because they can be, so you hear words like yin, vinyasa, hatha, right? Those are Sanskrit words. So people are like, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah. So those are the styles of classes. So we do our best to educate people on the styles. And we also try to get people to attend all the different various styles because they do different things for your body. So yin, right? Yin is a style of yoga where we are doing a lot more of that stretching. We do a lot of passive poses where you're just kind of lying on your back. We're trying to flush out the joints. There's compression on the joints. And by, having that compression in the joints and then you release that compression, that blood rushes back through that joint, and that's how we flush it out. So compression to releasing. So that is a great style on its own, but you don't want to just do that. So then we have like vinyasa, which is kind of where you're talking about, it could be more intense. So you're flowing with the breath, movement to breath, getting the heart rate up, working on strength, working on balance. You do all those things in vinyasa. And then hatha is a little less flowing with the breath. So you could just be jumping from one pose, like maybe you do a posture and you're doing the left side and then you do the right side and then you jump into another pose. It's a lot less flowy. You get to like take a break in between.
Right.
Whereas in vinyasa, there's not a lot of like breaks. So we're just...
So the vinyasa is probably a different level of intensity.
It can be, and you had mentioned earlier, like, does it depend on the teacher? So it depends on the teacher. So some teachers teach like a slower vinyasa because that's just what they resonate with as a teacher, and some teachers teach them faster one.
They were teaching a lot of in the yoga class that I was taking. Now, this wasn't a class that was like prison sponsored. This was a guy that had been down for like 35, 40 years that got into yoga like 20 years ago, and he developed. I mean, I don't know if prison yoga is a thing, but it was very focused on like a lot of the breathing. But he also would create almost like story, because you're in prison, so your mind, while your eyes are closed, you would imagine you're in a river, and a lot of like you would almost come out of it going, "Fuck, I forgot I was in prison for a little while." When you guys are doing yours, do you create like the environment where it's either music or sounds or what you're saying to the individuals to kind of almost go into a hypnosis state while they're going through the movements?
Yeah, breath work is a big part of a lot of the classes. There's a little bit of meditation in some classes. Some teachers kind of just do it right at the beginning of the class or right at the end. Some teachers like to incorporate meditation or those things like visualizations, like you're talking about.
His was actually at the end. You're right. It was at the end.
So again, it depends on the teacher. Everyone kind of teaches what resonates most with them, because then they're coming, their class is coming across authentically because they're teaching what they love. So yeah, it does depend on the class. So some teachers might incorporate, meditation, which is kind of what you're describing, a little more than others. But yeah, all of that fun stuff is incorporated in all the different classes.
So is your focus because it says hot yoga. So these other Sanskrit names, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So what were they again? The ones you just spoke about?
Yin, Vinyasa, Hatha. Yeah.
Those are not hot yoga, right?
They are.
Oh, they
yes.
are. So is it all like is the common denominator here all around hot yoga?
So it depends. We were just strictly hot classes. Yin yoga, the one where we were stretching and compressing the joints, that one is always warm because we don't want it to be so hot that we're just really getting those muscles so loosey-goosey that we maybe create an injury because we were working with that compression and those deep stretches.
Mhm.
So that one's always just warm at 85 degrees with no humidity in the room. Vinyasa is hot at 105 and 35% humidity. And Hatha, we have some warm Hathas. So again, they're 85. We have another class called Hot 26. So that's the same 26 postures. It's based off of Bikram yoga. We just do it a little differently.
How do you pronounce it?
Bikram.
So it's not Bikram. Bikram.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah. And, we usually don't, resonate with Bikram.
Okay.
So, but just because people usually know what that is.
Right.
But we do the same 26 poses in that one. That one's always hot. That one's always hot, 105, 35% humidity. We have some warm vinyasa and we have some hot vinyasa. We used to not do that.
What's a typical temperature in warm?
85. If there's a lot of people in there, it creeps up though, still.
So you kind of started at 85 and then movement gets going?
Yeah.
And hot yoga, where you start your temperatures at?
105.
It's hot. That's almost like a hot tub.
And it'll get hot in there, even hotter, if there's a lot of people in there.
What's the class you did this morning that I was supposed to do too? And I gracefully chickened out because I was feeling a little under the weather.
We did hot vinyasa this morning. Yep.
So that was 105.
105, 35% humidity up in there. Yep.
Now you said, because I told you I didn't go because I've been having allergies and coming off of a cold. You said it actually might have been better if I had gone for me.
Yeah. There's plenty of times where I haven't felt that great. I have really bad allergies. I'm allergic to everything, but like cats, the air, I don't know, so many things. But there's lots of times where I've either had allergies or I'm coming off a cold as well, and I have to go teach, which is different than taking a class. Like we're not doing the movements as fully as a student is.
Right.
But we're still in that infrared heat, that humidity. And I feel better after class, after teaching, and I go in like, I'm not my best self because I don't feel very well.
Come out a better version.
But I come out and I'm like, I'm glad I went to teach still because I feel so much better. So just, from experience, making it to the hot room when you're maybe not feeling your best, you come out feeling better.
Yeah, I wish I'd gone now because definitely today was like just a rough day, and having the interviews back to back, it was like, oh gosh. And then after you said that, I was like, man, I should have texted you last night that I wasn't going to make it.
Could have talked you into it.
It wouldn't have been much because I would have been like, all right, because I immediately kind of mentally envisioned it being like when I go to the gym when I'm not feeling well, where it's more of endurance to your muscles where you fatigue and then you end up getting sick for longer. But this is different. It's more stretching, and I don't know. I should have went.
Yeah. Well, you can still come.
I'm going to, because I want to talk about it on here to send others.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get too far, before people drop off the video, if anybody's watching this and they come in and mention this video, is there anything you're willing to do for them as far as like a discount off their first class? Or
for sure. Yeah, we could absolutely.
I put her on the spot, guys.
Yeah, it's all right. If someone mentions this video, we could do their first class free.
Okay. Yeah. So first class free. If you mention, I almost said 509 Eats. If you mention Wise Media Group, first class free.
Either one. We'll take
either one. Okay. So you opened up, I'm going to go back and forth in these questions here. So you opened up right around COVID, and starting a business has probably got its struggles that are already in existence. But then how did you maintain through COVID? Did you start doing like virtual yoga?
Ugh, man, it was rough.
Because you still got to pay your rent and all these things, and there's nobody showing up.
Yeah. So I also was a brand new business owner. Like I said, I had worked in a corporate job before. I had also helped get a winery off the ground as a startup. So I had some good experience there, but I had never ran my own thing. And so I was trying to like get my bearings and learn how to, wrap my head around that already. And then, just a couple months later, COVID hit, and we were forced to shut down the studio for 8 months.
Wow.
It was awful. So we did try to do virtual yoga. And some of my teachers were super gracious and was like, we just want to donate our time. Like if, you don't have to pay us, because some of our members weren't paying their memberships, which some of our members were also very gracious, and they were like, we just want to support you and get you through this. Keep paying our, keep charging me for my membership.
Keep dinging the card. We're not going to come, but we want you
Yeah.
to stay open.
Yeah. And so that was really awesome. There was a lot of people that couldn't afford to do that. And
Right.
that's fine too. We sent out an email and we were like, whatever you need to do, you do it. We're going to do our best to make it through this either way. So the virtual yoga just didn't work very well for us because we are a hot studio.
Right.
And so a lot of the feedback we were getting is like, well, I come there for the heat and it's just really hard to do it at home. It is hard to do yoga at home.
It's hard to exercise though.
Yeah.
It's like the state of mind. It's almost like a retreat to get away and go do something like this.
Yeah. So we were getting maybe 1 or 2 people tuning in, and some of those teachers were putting that time into like creating those classes and teaching those classes online, but they're donating their time. And so I was like, this just really isn't working. So we kind of fell off that, and we were like, this isn't working very well. We're just going to have to bide our time and try to make it through this. And there were some grants that we got from the government,
like SBA type stuff. Or you're brand new. I don't know if SBI really.
No, they were, oh my gosh, what were they called now? I don't know, CARES grants maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were this loans or this money that like
that
free?
was just a grant. Yeah. Okay. So a grant is free. We did have to take out 1 loan. So it was, some sort of like, I don't know, other COVID-19 loan.
They had a disaster relief loan.
I think that
like
maybe
a
was
30-year loan at like 2.5%.
Yeah.
12 months deferment.
Yeah. So
which honestly, I took that loan and I would have taken it even if I didn't need it. It was such a good, like, okay.
Yeah. So we did that as well. And then, luckily I own both New You and Renu, and New You was still able to be open even though the inside was shut down. We have a drive-through. And so the juice bar is a health food place, and people were getting sick. They were doing their best to be extra healthy, so New You was busy, and so I think that really helped us stay alive too, because we had the income from the juice bar, and I would just kind of like pay the bills where I could. Technically they're separate entities, they have their own bank accounts, but I was just like, we're gonna do what we gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. Was there ever a moment during the couple of years where you were like contemplating shutting doors and what am I going to do?
Oh yeah. I'm not a big crier, like really super emotional usually. And there were lots of tears. It was awful.
You almost make me want to cry. You say that.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was hard. And there was a point where the building owners that own my building, so I don't own the building, I reached out and I was like, I just don't think I can do this. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it another month. And I was like defeated. I was defeated. And they were like, let me take you to lunch. And it's 2 of them.
The ones that own your building.
That own my building, yes. So you're like the people I pay my lease to.
Right.
And they were helpful in the way that they like kind of deferred my lease out for a few months, but that I was still going to have to pay it back later on.
The back end.
Yeah. But it was helpful in the moment, and we've gotten past that. Like I've paid that back and everything. So that's nice. But we went to lunch, and I was like, I don't know, you guys, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Like my bank accounts are like, I got to pay my bills. I have a mortgage. I have, car payments. And they were just like, what do you need from us? Like, how can we help you? So they were really inspiring, and they talked me through it, and they were like, we believe in you. You got this, let us know what we can do to help, and we'll figure out a way to like make this work for you. They're really great mentors too, on top of just being the owners of my building. and
that's the same spot it was already at, right? So it was already a yoga studio and a juice bar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And so that was a pretty good pivotal conversation during COVID, where I thought I was like done. I thought I couldn't do it.
Right. Because they could have been like, if you can't pay your bills, you got to get out.
Yeah.
They gave you that flexibility.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was a good conversation. I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to make it work. And we did, because here we are. We're making it work. We, I know this is a lot about Renu today, but we just opened our second location for the juice bar. So, I mean,
what's the juice bar called again?
New You.
New You.
Yeah. So Renu is like a play on renew your body,
Right.
even though it's spelled RENU. And the new you is like a new you.
A new you.
Yeah, fun.
Well, we're going to have you back in hopefully in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks. We'll talk about the juice stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, what is some advice? Because there's a lot of people out there that want to go start a business, and you've had experience in doing some startups and being in a high level of management for other companies, which I'm sure there was still lots of learning curves that you learned opening up your own business. What is like some common basic advice you would give to a younger you? That could be your next juice bar, the younger you.
Yeah. I had a pretty like smooth transition into owning these businesses. And I think I owe it a lot to the previous owners of the businesses were really helpful and like made sure I really had a good grasp on things before I took over the reins. So that was nice. We had a couple of like overlapping months where they were kind of just helping me through things.
Oh, that's cool.
I got a business loan to buy my businesses, and the bank that I got my business loan from required you to do so much that it was like, it made me so prepared for everything because they required you to do like an extensive list of things.
Talk about that a little bit, because somebody right now that's like, oh, I'm going to go open up a coffee shop and I'm just
Yeah.
going to go get a business loan.
Yeah.
Like you're talking business plans.
Yeah.
You're like, you have to really, because they're not just going to give anybody a business loan. I'm sure credit comes into play too, but what are some of the things that they asked you for getting a business loan?
So yeah, definitely they check out your credit score. They check out your current income. They make sure that you have your LLC, your business license, like your state or your city that you live in, business license. Yes, a business plan. They want you to talk about your business plan. If it's an existing business, they want those not bank statements, like profit and loss statements
from the prior business,
from the prior owners. Or if it's a new business, right, they're probably going to want your financial plan, like how much money you're going to start out with, how much money you're going to put into it to get it going, and like how much you expect to make. I was also required to do like how much money I would expect to make after I took over, like month over month.
Right. When you talk about a business plan though, did you just write your own business plan? Did you go online and look up a template, or did you go to an organization and get some help with it?
No, I just wrote it up based on, they were existing. So I took, what the current owners were what had already built, and I built upon that of what my vision was for those businesses moving forward. But I probably did start out with like a template of what should be included, as I can't remember exactly what was in it, but I'm sure it's like, about the business, any plans you have for it in the future. Obviously, financial is like the biggest part of it, a huge part of it. How you're going to like price things, equipment. I remember equipment being a thing, like what kind of equipment you're going to need, especially like big things, like, I don't know, like a big giant
What's
fridge.
The biggest piece of equipment you have for the yoga side of things?
For the yoga side, I don't know. We don't really have like big stuff over there, because it's like the teachers are our equipment, right?
It's just a studio, right?
Yeah.
With bodies in it, and
Yep.
heats up, and in a plan of attack.
Yep. I mean, the studio itself is probably like,
How big is it? How big is the studio?
It's like 900 square feet.
Okay. Let's pull it up, Tony.
Yeah. So the studio is really beautifully designed. So we have the infrared heating panels. We have American clay walls. We have floors. I think the floor brand is called Zebra Flooring. The floors are squishy, so it's not hardwood floor.
Are they padded?
They're padded. Yep.
So should we go to where should we got your website, Facebook, and Instagram up? Where's the best spot to see some photos?
Probably Instagram.
So with these floors, is it all one big floor, or is it like panel floors?
They're like really big, but they're squares or rectangles. So yeah, if you scroll down a bit here on our feed,
scroll down, Tony.
Yeah, keep going. Oh, go back up. There was a good one. A little more. right there above the
empty
gal
one?
that's laying on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's back up now. So these floors, they're special floors. So that click on that picture right above the lady doing the pose on the ground, Tony.
Which one?
The picture of the empty studio.
The top middle one.
The mouse we have is horrible, guys. I apologize. There we go. Let's click on that one. So that's
It's a video.
it's a video.
Hey, look, that's me cleaning our prop station.
So those are the floors though, so you can see they're kind of like
Yeah, so those are our floors. So they're padded flooring. They are like resistant to retaining bacteria and anything like that.
okay.
We clean them every single day. I mean, we deep clean our studio every single day. The bathrooms, the floors, the studio room, the lobby, our props. You can see I'm cleaning our props there.
I imagine that's probably a big thing because mentally somebody's going to a yoga studio where they're going to be on the ground and their hands are going to be touching it. The last thing they want to do is smell feet on their hands when they come up. So I can imagine it's probably a lot of cleaning goes on.
Oh yes. One of the compliments, other good feedback that we get a lot is like, oh, your studio is so clean. And I love that. Like we try so hard to make sure that we are just have a super clean studio. Because exactly. Like I wouldn't want to take a child's pose or like a pose that Haley there at the bottom middle is doing and you could smell stinky sweat, on the floor.
Right.
Like, so we really pride ourselves in making sure that our studio is nice and clean.
So 900 square feet, that's a decent sized studio. How many people can you fit in there?
We can fit probably 25 comfortably.
Okay. Have you had 25 in there in one shot?
Mm-hmm,
That must be exciting. I imagine it being like a musician that's at a concert that has an audience.
Yeah. It is fun when we have bigger classes. It is 25 is pushing it, because people want space to really move around doing yoga. So at 25 is like you could comfortably fit 25 people in there, but it's cutting it close. Like tonight we have a healing sound bath, so that's fun.
Healing sound bath.
Yes, it's sold out though, so there's no more tickets left.
What is it?
But so there's this lovely lady named Christine Gamache, and she has, I think she said 11 or 12 crystal alchemy sound bowls. There's probably a picture.
Are they kind of like the sound bowls, the singing bowls?
So she takes a wand and goes around the bowl and
see if you can find a picture of that on there, Tony. Scroll through there and look for
go down more.
Keep going.
Oh, so fast. Wait, go back up.
Back up a little bit.
It would be in after summer. Scroll up. Maybe not. Oh, right there in the middle. Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
Click on that one.
All right. So that's Christine. Oh, she's so lovely. So she had 10 bowls. Now she's got 11. And so those are her crystal bowls. They're so gorgeous. We can fit 30 people in the room when we're doing this because you're just laying on the floor.
Moving. You don't need space.
Yes. And you can just see those folks, they're just enjoying it. So you literally,
those people over there on the side, looks like he's taking a nap. He's got a face mask on.
Yeah, we tell people to.
And how long is this class?
It's 90 minutes.
Oh man, this is like pure relaxation.
Oh yeah, it is. So yeah, you just let the vibrations of these sound bowls just like wash over you. You just lay there. You just take it in.
And what was the cost of a ticket?
I mean, they're truly healing. It's truly healing. $35.
Oh, it's not bad. $35 to like just kind of release all of the negative energy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so fun. We sell out every time.
Wow.
So,
how often do you guys do that?
We usually do it for the winter solstice and the summer solstice.
Okay.
So the summer solstice was just on the 21st, a couple days ago, which is also International Yoga Day.
Do you know what a hang drum is?
I don't.
I think there's another name for it. It looks almost like a UFO, like a flying saucer, and you play music on it. Never seen these?
I haven't. No.
I have a feeling if you looked into it, because it's very along the lines of crystals, singing bowls,
Yeah.
very like positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
It would be something cool you guys would
Yeah.
probably get into.
Yeah, she Christine there has a lot of fun different instruments that she brings too, like rain sticks. She has this ball and I always forget what it's called. It's like a small ball and it just jingles. It sounds like jingle bells inside. And oh gosh, she brings lots of fun little instruments.
Tony, we're gonna have to reach out to her and have her come on and tell her story.
You should.
Because I always feel like
lovely.
I feel like everybody has like these deep stories behind how they get into things, especially stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't just wake up one day and go, I'm gonna make music with singing bowls. Like it probably didn't start as a career. It probably came from some passionate moment in her life.
Yeah. I'll talk to her tonight.
How important is it to you to be engaged with like your community involvement, people's mental health? Does that all kind of tie together to what you're doing?
Yeah. We obviously what we're trying to create at Renu or any yoga studio is a community where people can come to learn about health and wellness, and create and cultivate a community and like a safe space where they can feel comfortable doing that and like exploring that. Recently I've gotten a lot more into like donating my time to events, community events, just so that I can help people, right? So there's an event coming up in Prosser that I'm going to go and just like donate my time to teach a class. It's a health and wellness event that they're doing out there at a winery. I think it's Wit Cellars maybe. So they're doing a fun festival out there. Do
you have certain degrees, or what is it that you teach? Is it stuff that's more of like from passion, or is it stuff that you've actually like gone to school for and you have certificates in different things?
Yeah. I teach all sorts of different things. Obviously prenatal, postnatal is one of my passions right now. I'm loving teaching that. I teach it every Sunday.
Talk about that. What is that? What do you teach exactly?
Yeah, so prenatal, obviously is for pregnant women.
Right.
And we use lots of props. It's a very different class because we want to be safe. The pregnant body is going through so many changes. We want to be safe with their lower back. You get a lot of injuries that could happen in the lower back or the lower sacrum. So we want to be careful with those areas. We also want to create, like a mind release, a stress release, a place for that. So I have a few moms that join me every week, and right now they just love it. They come every Sunday and I love them. I just love watching them grow through their journey. I love hearing their story, literally. They come to class every week with like a new update, and it's just so fun. Or like, at our last class, one of the girls started giggling and she's like, I'm sorry, he's kicking me in the ribs. And it's just so cute. Like, I just love it. And then postnatal yoga is we are still wanting to be very careful with the body because you just went through this whole ordeal of having
still
a baby.
Recuperating.
Yes. So we do ask that, moms give themselves at least 6 weeks to recover before coming back to yoga, even postnatal yoga.
Right.
We're still using some props, not as much. We focus on not doing a lot of front loading, weight bearing activities like planks or push-ups or like V sit-ups. Because there's a lot going on in the abdominals after birth, and during pregnancy. So we want to be careful with those spaces. And again, like they're having to take care of this newborn all the time. So it's a place they can come to maybe relieve some stress.
How far up while they're pregnant? How far along? Up until what point should they not go?
So for prenatal yoga, you can come all the way up until you have your baby.
Have you had somebody like water break yet on the floor?
No, but I have had one of my friends, she was coming to my prenatal classes and she came up until like, I think the week of that she had her birth. So it was really fun. So she likes to tell people like, I went up all the way until I was about
You're going to make Good Morning America when you give birth in the yoga studio.
Right. Oh my goodness. The lady who I got my certification from, she has had people have their water breaks in class.
Wow.
So I don't know. It might just be like only a thing that'll happen over time, maybe.
I mean, it's like you hope to never get in an accident, but at some point you're probably going to be in one. And if you've got these classes going on with women that are pregnant up until whenever,
yep.
I think it's a matter of time, which is kind of cool though, because at least they're in an environment where everybody's probably at a different consciousness and aware of the situation where if she's freaking out, somebody else is not going to be freaking out.
Yeah.
It's probably not the worst place to have it happen.
Yeah. So we were trained on what to do if that happens. All of our clients, even people that aren't pregnant, have an emergency contact that we have them add. So like we would call their emergency contact. We would, stop class. So
Get the mop, guys. Come on, we're on the clock.
It's actually not that much, like they show that in movies where it's like this.
It's
big,
not
like,
it's not a waterfall.
No,
yeah, I've had 2 of them. Well, not personally, obviously,
right.
But honestly, I was with my ex-wife both times when her water broke, and now that you say that, I don't remember like a flood where I had to get a life jacket.
Yeah, it's not.
Have you had children?
Crazy. Nope, not yet.
No children. Okay.
Not yet.
Are children in your future? Do you want children?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm engaged. I have a fiance. We were planning on getting married at the end of this year. But because I opened that second location, we're like, okay, we're gonna have to wait till next year because opening a whole new location, was like a financial.
What's his name?
Endeavor. His name's Andy.
Hi, Andy. Shout out to Andy.
Yes, he's probably currently at the juice bar / yoga studio.
Does he work with you?
He just like he'll work shifts at the juice bar. He'll do like odds and ends things that we need done. Like fix the toilet. I don't know. Like
right.
He mows the lawns.
So mows the lawn. So go. Tony, go back up to the top of the photos where there looked like there was like yoga in the park or in the grass.
Oh yeah, that was at
Oh, that's not your grass.
Nope, okay. That was at Bellbreaker probably.
Oh, Bellbreaker? Yeah, never mind, Tony. I was thinking maybe that was her. So do you do yoga and other? I mean, obviously you go teach classes and stuff or events, but do you ever have like, hey guys, we're not going to be in the studio today. We're gonna go out to the park. Do you ever like switch it up on your? Especially during this beautiful weather we have.
We'll do stuff in the park. We'll do stuff outside, but we usually keep our regular classes on the schedule for those that don't want to, go. Usually we'll do it like at Bellbreaker, Gilbert Cellars. We do stuff out there all the time. But it's usually like a workshop event. So there's tickets like there is to tonight's event.
Right.
So sometimes people just don't want to go to that workshop. They just want to go to a regular class. So we keep the classes on the schedule and the workshop. And so
you have a community calendar of your classes and events, like where people can see what classes are available.
Yeah. On our website, we have a button at the top that says schedule. And
we'll pop over there.
So all of our...
So while he's popping over there, so downtown Yakima Downtown Association, however you pronounce that name, they have a community calendar that for local business owners, you can actually put your stuff on there and they promote it for you for free. Oh. All you have to do is submit it. And as long as it's, not a shady, crazy business.
Yeah.
They were talking about that today. You might want to engage with them.
But yeah, I'll have to.
So we go here and go.
So go to schedule at the top. Click that, and then when you scroll down, that will show all of our classes for the week.
Okay.
About the class, the times.
So what is Hot 26?
Hot 26 is that Bikram one.
26 poses?
Yep, the 26 poses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one are the names of the people like where it says Stacy Lyman?
Yeah, those are the person teaching it. Yep. Okay. Yep. There's our prenatal and postnatal.
How many classes do you typically have per day in your studio?
We have more in the winter because we're a hot studio. I don't know. This maybe happened to all studios. I'm not sure, but it slows down in the summer when it's hot.
Hot outside.
Yeah.
It's probably more common in Florida.
Yeah.
It's the same temperature all year round.
Yeah.
So in the wintertime, you guys are busier.
Yeah. In the wintertime, we're busier. So we remove some of the classes in the summer just because it's, we'll get like 1 to 2 people in a class occasionally, and it just makes more sense to reduce the schedule, and then people can come to.
So is the price per class, or is it based on like memberships?
We have all different pricings. Yeah. So if you scroll back to the top, there is a pricing button all the way at the top. Those numbers you see there are a single class price, but that's just like a drop-in price. But we have class passes, so you can get a 5 class pass, a 10 class pass.
Tony, just so you know, it helps when you get the mouse over, you can tap right on the iPad and it brings the mouse over there. There you go. So let's go to the top.
We have memberships. So we have different options for memberships. We have unlimited memberships. We have a 4 times a month membership for like those folks that just want to come once a week. Yep, right there.
So new student unlimited. So
Yeah.
$39. That's a month.
That is for our new students who've never been to the studio before. So
Okay.
they get to try out as many classes as they want for 2 weeks.
For
So
2
that's for
weeks.
new students only.
Okay.
And then we have our memberships where it's $99 a month for a 12-month membership or $109 for a 6-month membership.
Is that
And those are unlimited
they
packages.
pay monthly or they pay that in
Monthly.
advance?
Those are monthly. Yep. And then we have our 10 class passes, our 5 class passes.
So you've
and
got
single class.
you kind of got it covered for everybody's different financial situation.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
somebody's struggling but they still want to take care of themselves.
Yeah. Something I would love to do, and I've been thinking about this for a while and haven't figured out how to put it in action. So like maybe if someone watches this and they have an idea, I just would love to create a fund somehow
Like a
that
sponsorship.
that people who can't afford or they're going through a financial struggle can like utilize this fund to be able to still make it to yoga, because
That's a great
people
idea.
don't or insurance doesn't cover
Right.
like your wellness, which is just so backwards, because insurance covers once you're already hurt or sick. Like why don't they cover preventative health? Like, oh, it just drives me nuts, but
Yeah.
it's a whole other conversation.
Welcome to the USA.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually a really good idea. And right before you said that, I was thinking it'd be cool for us, you know, obviously it helps us promote our own company, but if we could find somebody that would love to get into yoga or try yoga, or maybe somebody that's used to do it, but they just can't afford it, you know, Wise Media Group, we'd love to sponsor somebody for a month,
Yeah.
give them a month to go and give it a try, see if they like it.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm going to come do it just for the fact of I know how much better I felt when I was doing it. And then even now, like you talked about I just learned what the sacra is. I've got something going on where like when I sneeze, it feels like my hip is about to pop out of joint, and I'm walking around with a limp half the day. So I feel like yoga would only enhance when I even turn around and look at Tony, I look like Frankenstein, like the whole body's like spinning, you know? So I think doing it for the men out there, a lot of men just they have this like, oh, I don't want anybody to know I'm doing yoga, but it's really not. Like, it's not a girly thing. It's for anybody that wants to feel better.
Yeah. And you know, there's this saying, I can't remember who said this or exactly how they said it, but it's like, if you don't make the time for your health now, you're going to have to make time for a disease later. And I'm just like, what can we do to like change the frame of mind because we get a lot of people that come to the studio after they've already been experiencing some sort of like disease or pain, like
they're like in panic mode now.
Yeah. And so then they're like trying to fix it after the fact. And I just wish we could change the frame of mind for people, like start now,
preventative,
so that you're healthy for the rest of your life, you know, or you're at least doing what you need to do to, you know, stay on the right path for your health and wellness. But it's just, again, it's like the insurance thing. Like, it's just backwards. Like, people don't make time for it until they're hurting.
So I'm thinking whoever is watching, listening to this right now, wait for Tony to get caught up with us here. I'm definitely gonna go get a mouse pad today. Poor Tony. So put it on me, Tony. So whoever's watching right now, I would love to invite you to, I'm going to come next week. I'm going to try to commit to at least 2 classes. So if anybody wants to come with me, if you've never done this before, you want to give it a shot and you don't know if it's for you, if you come with me, I'll get your first 2 classes. But I want to thank you for coming out today. Is there anything you want to leave people with, and how can people find you? Like, what's your biggest area of social media where people can follow what you're doing, learn about you, and just kind of like see the day-to-day behind the scenes?
Yeah. Mostly Instagram. We post a lot on Instagram. So our Instagram for the studio is at Renu Hot Yoga, at Renu Hot Yoga. And then personally, I post a lot about my businesses on my personal Instagram because they're like my life right now.
Right.
They're my like, I don't have
what
children
personal
yet,
life,
right? I don't have children yet. They are my babies.
Your babies.
So my personal Instagram is at Karissa Brandhagen.
Okay.
Very clever, I know.
You must have help with that one.
And then what was I going to say? Oh, email. So like we send out a lot of emails about what's coming up at the studio. So if people are interested in knowing like what's going on outside of just checking Instagram, or you want it to go directly to you, email's the best place for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of Karissa's links are in the description of this video. Got her social media in there, got her Facebook in there, all that good stuff. Karissa, thank you for coming in. I hope people
Thank
can
you.
benefit from this and realize that yoga is not just for typical, what we see as stereotypical stay-at-home moms. This is for anybody that wants to
Yeah.
better themselves, from kids to adults to elderly to everybody in between.
Everybody. Yep.
Everybody. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Did you hit that on a widescreen?